Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It is another terrific night for baseball here in the Motor City. The Tigers getting a little bit closer to that second wild card. The Blue Jays lost this afternoon. Tigers now within a game and a half. Ian Kinsler and the Tigers back at it tonight. It is game 3 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pebble alongside Jack Morris. Glad to have you with us here for Game 3 in the series. And, Jack, every time these two teams meet, you know that second base position is going to be on fire, too, the best at that position.
No question about it. For the Tiger fans, they have Ian Kinsler, and he's had a wonderful year again here in Detroit. And for Minnesota, it's all about Brian Dozier. Let's take a look at some of the video of what these guys have done this year. Ian Kinsler, just tremendous numbers as a leadoff man. We all know what he can do defensively, some of his finer plays this summer. Look at this backflip right there. I mean, that's something he practices, believe it or not. Brian Dozier, on the other hand, is a second Twins player in Minnesota Twins history to hit 40 home runs, and that's from a second baseman. Only Harmon Killebrew has done that from any other position. He's also a very fine defensive player. Doesn't have the strength of his throwing arm that Kinsler does, but both guys exceptional all-star type second baseman.
All right, now as far as the starting pitcher tonight for the Tigers, it's Anibal Sanchez, and desperately looking for a win, not only for his team, but really for the starting staff. They have not had one in a while.
You know, it's a little bit alarming to know that the Tigers starting staff has not picked up a win since late August, and Anibal has had really good numbers against the Twins. Now, this guy has had an up and down year. Everybody knows that. But sometimes you reach back and you remember that you've always had good numbers against one team. He needs a win tonight. The Tigers desperately need to stay close. 90 wins seems to be the magical number, and he can lead the charge tonight.
All right, now you might notice we're wearing these spiffy bow ties here. Take a look. Take a look. Pretty cool, huh? You'll get your chance to help support the Tigers Foundation and the Chad Tuff Foundation by purchasing one tonight. We'll have a little bit more information on that as we continue here this evening. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Mickey York. Coming up tonight, the Tigers' favorite things auction during the broadcast. Your chance to bid on some terrific packages. Stay with us. Tigers Twins next. It's game 3 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Twins. Anibal Sanchez will make the start for the Tigers tonight. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Anibal will make his 25th start, 33rd appearance against the Twins here tonight. Did not factor in his last decision against the White Sox, where he gave up 3 runs on 8 hits over 5 innings. He's had pretty good numbers against the Twins. This will be his 14th start. He's got a 5-4 record with a 2.60 ERA.
Here's the starting lineup he will face tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Dozier, Polanco, and Kepler in the top 3 spots. Vargas, Suzuki, Escobar in the middle. Grossman, Schaefer, and Byron Buxton rounding it out. Polanco, pretty good numbers this year against the Tigers. We'll see if Sanchez can hold him in check tonight. And we are ready for baseball on another night's night here in the Motor City. The first one is fouled back out of play by Brian Dozier. Dozier extending his hitting streak to 17 consecutive games last night. And he has a whopping 40 homers this year. Now Sanchez with the 0-1 pitch. That's a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. The Bernstein advantage featuring Dozier and Sanchez, and despite his lofty numbers, not very good numbers against Anibal.
Anibal's got some good numbers against Brian Dozier.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Foul straight back.
Look out.
Well, made a beeline for the booth. Fortunately, didn't have enough juice behind it. 0-2 on Dozier.
Sanchez going right after Dozier. Here's a guy that typically is ready to play the game when that first pitch is thrown. And Anibal has been working ahead in the count.
Just off the plate there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sanchez, 32 years old, out of Maracay, Venezuela. His numbers in the second half have been a lot better than the first half, but still trying to go deeper into games.
Yeah, a lot of games where he pitched fairly well and didn't get a good result from it either.
And it seems like that's kind of been a common theme for Tigers starting pitchers recently. We talked on the open about how the Tigers have not had a win from a starter in quite a while, despite some pretty good outings. Here's the 2-2. And Dozier swings and misses. Down he goes.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. That's brought to you by Belmont Health. Justin Upton returns the lineup out in left field. Cameron Maben in the center. You can see J.D. Martinez errorless in his last 39 games in right field. Andrew Romine at third. Jose Iglesias short. Ian Kinsler second. Miguel Cabrera at first base. And James McCann doing the catching again.
Beauty of an off-speed pitch there to get Dozier. Here is Jorge Polanco. Twins were off and running in the ball game last night. They scored a couple of runs in the first inning. Polanco had a bloop double to help get him going.
Polanco had a big night for the Twins last night. A 3-hit game, or one walk also. So on base 4 of 5 times.
No balls and 2 strikes. Gibson a good outing last night for Minnesota, and one of his better outings of the year. Kind of shut the Tigers offense down. It's an offense that has been somewhat inconsistent this year. Here's the 0-2. And he got him. Strike 3 in the outside corner. Got the benefit of the call there from Carlos Torres. 2 up, 2 down. The first inning. Well, special telecast tonight. The Tigers' wives are standing by to take your bid in the Detroit Tigers Favorite Things auction. Support the Tigers Foundation and bid on unique items selected by your favorite Detroit Tigers players. 313-471-2100 is the phone number, and throughout the course of the night we will show you some of those auction lots that you can look at, and all the Tigers have put together some of their favorite things. Max Kepler is hitting now with 2 outs.
Well, the Detroit Tiger fans' favorite things would be a Tiger win tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if we can stick one of those in the basket. 1-1 on Kepler, and really, Jack, it's getting to the point now. We have 18 games left that got to start winning them. Things tightening up in the wild card. Here's the 1-1. Lifted back out of play, 1-2.
Good location right there from Anibal. Down and away is where you want to pitch Max Kepler right now. He's kind of proven to the league that he can handle the ball down and in. That's his sweet spot. Pretty good on the whole inside part of the plate all the way to the belt. They're going to go in there though.
Swing and a miss. Hey, what a start by Sanchez tonight.
3 strikeouts.
He struck out Dozier to start it off. He got Polanco. And he finishes off Kepler. Nice start tonight for the Tigers. The first, Ian Kinsler will get it started for the Tigers. MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Ian. We look at some of the leadoff hitters around the game in the American League, and Ian's at the top of all of these categories.
Boy, he's had a heck of a year, and 26 leadoff home runs, 102 runs scored. He's just doing it all for Detroit.
And the Tigers tonight facing the right-handed offerings of Tyler Duffy.
See the numbers for Tyler Duffy this year. He's making his 24th start. Here's a guy that you just got to watch his breaking ball. He depends on his breaking ball, and he needs to keep it down in the zone to have success. If it's elevated, the Tigers should have a fun night.
Kinsler starts it off, and he looks at a strike right at the knees. 0-1. Ian batting .277. It's been a fabulous year. 26 home runs. He'll drive that one to the gap in left center field. That ball is going to get down and go up against the wall. Kinsler cruising to second with a lead-off double. And a way to get it started.
Let's take a look at the last pitch. You can see Duffy's throwing a fastball there, but it runs back over the middle of the plate. They wanted it away. Kinsler, just another classic swing. He hits this one in the gap, and right away the Tigers have a runner in scoring position.
Well, the Tigers 1 for 9 with men in scoring position in the series, and Kinsler 350th career double.
It's amazing the similar numbers that those two guys have generated offensively. Kinsler with that hit is about 279. Dozier's at 280. Dozier's leading a little bit more in overall home runs, but Ian's leading from the leadoff position.
Maben shows bunt, strike one. Yeah, two very similar guys who have done some terrific damage offensively in their careers. Cam batting .315, 1 for 8 in the series. At the very least here, trying to extend Kinsler to third. He'll back him out of there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Tyler Duffy is what a lot of scouts would call a slinger. He kind of has that buggy whip arm. He doesn't really load it right behind him. He kind of just whips it around his body.
Chop foul, 1-2.
And like a lot of young pitchers, the key for him is to keep that shoulder driving towards the catcher. He a lot of times will fly open with his front shoulder, and that's when the ball starts elevating. So I'm sure the Tigers are aware of that, and they will be kind of watching what happens.
That sails outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Let's take a look at his last pitch here. You can see he's in a good tuck position, but his front shoulder really flies open fast, and he's stepping over there towards first base instead of finishing off a little bit more towards the catcher.
Line drive to left center. That's going to get down and score a run. Kinsler rounding third. He'll come home. Throw to second. Not in time. And the Tigers are off and running with back-to-back doubles. Maben not only moves him up, he scores him.
Well, again, this pitch left out in the inner part of the plate. Maben kind of pulls his hands through it, does a nice job of putting the barrel of the bat on the ball. Kinsler knows that this is going to be a cakewalk home, and he's just watching and touching home plate for the first run.
Twelve doubles on the year now for Maben. And Cabrera looks at a bender that drops in for a strike. 0-1. Much better start to the ball game tonight for the Tigers, who were limited offensively last night. In fact, they got their first run of the ball game in the first inning, but after that they were shut down. There's a bouncer back up the middle. Dozier on the move. That'll advance the runner to third base. 1 gone. Here's the rest of the Tigers lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. You saw the top 3: Kinsler, Maben, and Miggy. Martinez, and Upton, who is back in the lineup tonight. McCann, Romine, Iglesias. Andrew, fine numbers over the years against Minnesota. How about that? You got a guy like Miguel Cabrera just pretty much giving himself up.
Well, that's just it. It's the little things. He gets Maben 90 feet away from the second run of the game. The Tigers have scored now in all 3 games against Minnesota in the first inning, but they only have gotten 1 run in those first 3 games. So here they have a chance for a multi-run first inning.
Martinez DHing. Bounce foul, and the count is 0-1 on Victor. 3 for 7 in the series. Again, if you'd like to bid on the auction items tonight, 313-471-2100 or tigers.com/wives. You see the new oven mitt that Cam Maben is wearing these days to protect that left thumb. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. 0-2 on Victor Martinez. That's something we saw Rajai Davis wear quite a bit in his time with the Tigers.
Yeah, it just keeps all your fingers together. There's no way that you can expand one finger if you happen to catch part of the bag on a head first slide.
Infield in for the Twins, and he rolled it foul.
Let's take a look at the Twins starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Logan Schaefer will be out in left field. Byron Buxton back in center field, and Max Kepler, who has not played yesterday, will be back out in right field. Escobar at short, Escobar at third, Polanco at short, Dozier at second, Kenny Vargas back at third base. No Joe Mauer again tonight. Kurt Suzuki, the veteran, catching Tyler Duffy.
High and away, 1-2. No Mauer, no Sano. There's Joe Mauer. Haven't seen him in this series. It's odd facing the Twins without that left-handed bat in their lineup. .269 this year for Mauer. 1-2 is hammered back to the screen. Victor in his season this year against the Twins, .392 with 9 RBIs, and he's sitting here with the infield in, trying to drive in a run with 1 out.
Usually there's a Very elaborate shift for Victor. And here he's got him drawn in. He just feel like all he has to do is hit a ball hard. And there's a lot of air between all those drawn in infielders.
Victor has seen a lot of breaking balls in recently. He was able to fight that one off. Back-to-back doubles by Kinsler and Maben started this one. Swing and a miss. He got him with the breaking ball. Down he goes. Here are the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. What do we have tonight? It's 70 degrees at game time.
My kind of weather. Crisp.
Would this be the absolute perfect weather for you to pitch in?
Oh man, I think so. No wind, very, very little wind. Just another gorgeous evening here in Detroit. You can tell that fall's in the air.
What was too cold for you? Would it be like in the 50s?
Well, too cold was when I started getting cold, and I'm the only guy moving out in the field, so it had to be in the 20s.
That is a foul ball.
You know, I really did. When I was young, I loved cold weather because I knew hitters hated it. So there's a psychological advantage for the pitcher that could tolerate it. You know, nobody, let's face it, nobody likes to pitch in cold weather or hit in cold weather. You don't get a real good grip on the baseball. Let's look at this ball just going foul. Almost hit the bag. But tonight is just perfect night.
Yeah.
I think everybody's invigorated. You feel alive in this kind of weather.
He thought about chasing that breaking ball away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Martinez. They've done that a lot to JD in this series. And Martinez is 0 for 8. Infield back now with 2 outs. They play him to pull. They stay away again.
Duffy's thrown a lot of breaking balls already. This next pitch will be his 20th. And that's his go-to pitch. He really has a lot of confidence in it. He prefers that the hitters chase it out of the zone. You got Victor to do that on a real good pitch down in the zone.
Well, coming into this game, right-handed batters were batting .324 against Duffy. And a couple of righties, Kinsler and Maben, already with 2 base hits. And again, the bender stays outside. Now it goes 3-2.
Again, another breaking ball that Duffy's hoping that JD will chase.
Justin Upton would bat next. Here comes another breaking ball. And he put the bat on it, rolled it to third base, bobbled there by Escobar, but he stayed with it nicely. And the inning over. Tigers will get a run and leave a man. We go to the second. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. We go to the top of the second here at beautiful Comerica Park. Tigers on top of the Twins. And for Minnesota, it'll be Kenny Vargas to lead things off.
Vargas 3 for 5 in last night's game, including a home run. So he gets another chance to play first base for the Twins here tonight.
Home run that Vargas hit last night is 7th. He has 14 RBIs. A little bit outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. I was reading that when he was a kid, Kenny Vargas had the nickname of the Wall. And it seems to fit because he is wallish. He is very big. He's a large human. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vargas.
.65, 289, and that's being, well,
conservative.
Conservative is the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Got him. Strike 3.
4 in a row for Annie Ball.
I'm going to do some quick math here.
That could be 27 straight, right?
Thanks, you just did it for me. He's on pace for 27 strikeouts.
That's a fastball away that was borderline, but right now Carlos Torres, the home plate umpire, is kind of getting with the program. You got to love that when you're pitching.
Here is Kurt Suzuki. I'm not sure that's a program that the hitters are very fond of.
But it does speed up the game.
And we're all about that, aren't we? Here is Suzuki. Ground ball to short. That's going to break the strikeout string. 2 gone. Sanchez doesn't care.
No. Neither do we, because it was a first pitch out.
Yeah, you got to love those. 2 gone now for Escobar.
And that's something, you know, we don't talk about much, but that is a real, in this day and age of pitch counts, to be able to induce swings early in counts and get outs is really the key to what pitching's all about in today's game. A 1 pitch out right there for Anibal.
Escobar looks at a strike. Well, Chris Sale this year, I guess, has been on record as saying, I want to get some more quick outs in my starts. So his strikeouts per 9 have been down, but he has been getting quicker outs, and I guess a way for him to stay deeper in games. There's a high fly ball to left field. It's going to be a quick inning for Sanchez.
Very good.
1, 2, 3 go the Twins. We go to the bottom of the second. lot here. If you want to bid on this one, autographed jerseys are included, a camo cooler, a hunting cap, wireless headphones, among other things. There's phone number 313-471-2100 or tigers.com/wives, and you can bid on the Fulmer Upton lot. They have combined this year for some of their favorite things. And Justin leads it off here in the second. It'll be Upton, McCann, Romine facing the right-hander Duffy. They're playing to pull on Jay up. 3 defenders to the left side of the infield.
Well, he's gotten Duffy a couple times this year as far as the long ball, but I think when Jay Up is really swinging it well, he is not afraid to shoot the ball that's away out to right field.
Duffy again trying to get him to chase, wouldn't do it. 2 balls, 1 strike.
If I was managing, I would probably play the shift for the first 2 strikes and then play straight up after that, because a lot of hitters know that you're going away and they'll go with that ball away.
Yeah, that's a tremendous point. And I agree with that. I mean, we see it occasionally when they will shift in between counts or in the middle of counts, depending on what the count is. But to me, it always gets back to a point you made last night. How is the pitcher going to pitch?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the shift is all about. I remember before the shift ever became part of this modern game, pitching against Baltimore, Jim Palmer, the Hall of Fame pitcher, he would literally turn around and position his left fielder, and in center field he'd pull him in, and then he'd move his shortstop, and he would pitch completely opposite of what he just did. And
really?
I'd ask him a couple times, what the heck are you doing? He says, I really don't know, but I just thought I'd act cool and move the guys around. Bottom line is, I want to get in the hitter's head, and I want to throw the ball opposite of what he thinks I'm going to do.
Very wily, Jim Palmer. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, we look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Did you ever tell Tram, hey, slide over a couple of feet?
Never.
Tell Lou, why don't you move over a couple of feet?
You know what? I trusted them. They knew more about where they should be than I did.
I could see you moving Chet Lemon a couple of steps to his left.
Chet, would you just go up in the stands there? That's where the ball's going to end up on this pitch.
McCann drives 1 foul out of play.
No, I figured, you know, they've got advanced scouts for that reason. If they're going to position guys, which they did, every team had guys that were positioning the outfielders and the infielders, but the shift wasn't a part of it. There were shifts, but not from one side to the other.
Right. And a little looper back a second, going to drop in, base hit. And McCann has a looping single to right field.
There's some of the scouts here watching this ball game tonight, and they're doing exactly what we were just talking about, trying to find tendencies. See the pitch that got in on James McCann, but he was able to fight it off because it was elevated enough. It was above the thighs, and you've got to keep that ball down around the knees so that the top half of the bat is above the ball. Then you're going to induce a ground ball.
Romine, the hitter. Tigers starting Romine at third base tonight. Nick Castellanos was a part of the sim game that Jordan Zimmerman threw before the game today. Took 1 at bat, and that was it. And reported there still is some pain in that broken hand of his. That is driven to right field, and it's going to go foul. That would have driven in a run. The simulated game, which we're calling the Zim game.
Sim's in, yeah.
Sim's in. Trevor will have a little bit more on that in a little bit. Big part of the starting rotation, Jordan Zimmerman.
I'm thinking there's going to be some pretty good reviews on what he did today. From what my eyeballs saw, it looked like he threw the ball fairly well.
Swing and a miss. Well, stay tuned, because Trev will have all the information on that in a little bit. Romine batting .237, 1 home run this year. He has McCann at first with 1 out. Checked it low, 2-2. For Romine, his 6th start at third base this season. It's been all over the diamond.
We talked about it in both the first 2 games of this series. The Tigers have got on the board in the first inning, and then the bats went quiet for quite some time. Again, this inning, a 1-out hit from McCann. They've got a base runner. They got to figure out a way to start manufacturing runs after the first inning. Put the pressure on the visiting team. I think Coach Wally Joyner is probably hoping for the same result that we just described.
It'll pop up, back a short, and Polanco will run it down. And in turn, taking a little bit of pressure off the starting pitcher for the Tigers as well. Bring up Iglesias.
I'm sure Sanchez would love to have a little cushion to work with. It's been quite a stretch for him.
1-for-5 in the series for Iglesias. .244 batting average. Tyler Duffy leads the Minnesota Twins in victories. He has 8 wins this year, and that leads their club deep into the month of September. It's been that kind of year for the Twins. They came in, have been roughed up this year. They're 54 and 91. 1 ball, 1 strike. You got a feel for a guy like Paul Molitor, who, I think obviously is very well respected in this game. The Twins last year showed some promise. They were 83 and 79 last year. 1-1 spins a little bit inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Mario, you just touched on a subject that I think is what's really been eating away at Twins fans back in the Minnesota areas. They showed signs of promise that they might have turned the corner last year, and they were so optimistic about what could happen this summer, and it's gone south.
Down the left field line, foul ball.
Foot away from maybe scoring the 2nd run of the game. See where Duffy throws this ball middle half in. And he just couldn't keep it fair. Iglesias put a nice swing out of it, but maybe what, a foot and a half foul?
If that. 2-2 on Iggy. Top of the order, waiting on deck, Kinsler. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. Well, last year, as you mentioned, the Twins, we're starting to make a move a little bit, and they did it with some young players. They had, Sano, and Buxton was on the horizon, and Rosario had a nice year, and so I think most people thought that this year they'd take the next step.
Tiger fans are very familiar with the veteran Torrey Hunter and what he brought to the Twins last year in his leadership role. And this one's going to dribble foul, and I think Torrey tried to get a lot of the young kids to understand the importance of every at-bat, grinding away, the things leadership role that a veteran can bring. But the Twins, he couldn't pitch for them, and that's been their issue this year. Bullpen has got way too many innings in. They're last in team ERA.
You saw there the largest decline from last year in winning percentage. Meanwhile, Iglesias continuing to move that pitch count up for Duffy.
Yeah, 43 pitches already with 2 outs here in the 2nd inning.
Tough guy to strike out. We know this because Iglesias will battle you tooth and nail, but a strikeout every 10.5 at bats, which is the best ratio in the American League. And he got that one in play, rolled slowly to the shortstop. Quick throw, not in time. Ball was just not hit hard enough, and Polanco's throw was tardy.
I think that's a tough play for Polanco to go to 2nd base. McCann's not the fastest runner, but as we watch this, you can see he just flipped his bat out after it. Polanco charges the ball well. I think initially he would like to have gone to 2nd base, but when he made up his mind to continue to charge and make a play at first, too late. Iglesias got down that line a lot faster, I think, than he expected. and that'll go down as an infield hit.
And it'll keep the inning going for Kinsler, so a really good at bat by Iglesias. Ian double to start the first. They'll spin in for a strike. 0-1. That is the fourth Tigers hit in this game. Grounded foul. Twins are giving Kinsler some room in the gap in left center field, and that's exactly where he hit his two-base hit in his first at bat.
You can see all this room out here in the outfield. That's what Mario's referring to.
Now the 0-2. Kinsler now has hit safely in 11 of his last 13 games. Trying to tack on here with 2 outs and 2 on in the second. Ground ball up the middle and into center field, a base hit. McCann rounding third. He will score. Kinsler with an RBI signal, and the Tigers come through with 2 outs. It's 2-0.
Well, it doesn't overshadow the importance of how Jose Iglesias got down the line. Ian Kinsler, kind of the same situation. Flips his bat at a ball that's down and away. This one finds a hole up the middle, and McCann scores. Iglesias to third base, and that's all because Iglesias hustled down the line on a ball that was hit to shortstop the previous at bat.
Just out of the reach, Polanco diving at the shortstop position. McCann comes in. Now the Tigers have runners at first and third, and Cameron Maben up there. Maben had a double and an RBI in his first at bat. There's a strike. 0-1. Strike 2 now on Maben. We're talking about how the Twins have thrown more innings out of the bullpen than any other team in the American League, and now the pitch count already is up to 50 on Duffy. So the Tigers will get into the bullpen again tonight. Runner goes, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Maben unable to hold up. Inning over. Tigers get another run. Talk about how these numbers are always fluid, these wild card standings. Tigers have a chance to be one out after tonight, and they're leading 2-0 in this game. There's a strike call to Robbie Grossman, and Mr. Sanchez now 6 out of 7 in first pitch strikes.
And perfect through 2 innings, so he's been pitching very well out of the gate here tonight.
Slapped in the air to center field. That'll back up Maben, who is under it. 1 gone. Let's check in now with Trevor Thompson.
Well, guys, earlier today, Jordan Zimmermann threw a simulated game here on the field. He threw 80 pitches and afterwards said that he felt really good. The key for him today, slowing his mechanics down and his motion to the plate. By doing this, he said he was able to get more life on his fastball, more bite on his breaking balls, and he said it's a day-by-day thing, but today was a good day for Jordan Zimmermann. Now they'll see how he feels tomorrow, and there could be another simulated game in his future before he returns to the rotation, which is the hope before the regular season ends. And also, guys of note, Nick Castellanos took part in that simulated game, took a few swings, and then had to bow out. A little bit of pain in that healing hand of his. So I'll tell you more about Nick a little bit later on, but back to you guys for now.
All right, Trev, good work. Thank you very much. That ball popped up. Foul ground. McCann discards the mask. It took off on him. And Schaefer has new life.
You know, that's a play, and I'm just speculating here. I don't know, but you can see McCann and Sanchez talking about it. I think Sanchez might have thrown McCann off on this, and watch how he charges towards home. McCann hasn't located it yet. Anibal was just pointing to it, but James never really saw the ball and never got to it. Anibal saw it, and he probably should have just kept going when he saw that McCann did not locate it. He drifted over and never got to it.
So Schaefer will live at least for another pitch. The 0-2. Logan Schaefer batting .296. Had a triple in the ball game last night. And the 1-2. Low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jack, you were down there watching the simulated game as well. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was interesting. I had a great conversation with General Manager Al Avila about Zimmerman's outing today. And he was telling me that maybe they should have given him more time in between from his injury till not necessarily bringing him back last start. He thought maybe that wasn't such a good idea. And I agreed with him. I know that when you're off for over 5 weeks, it's almost like you have to start spring training all over again. And you need time to build up arm strength and to get the feel back again. And I thought he looked really sharp today. You know, both Al and I were saying that. He said he looks night and day different than he did against, was it Baltimore, his last start?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a tough offense to face.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this, playing devil's advocate, I mean, you're running out of time here, and you want one of your best pitchers to get in there and try and help you.
No question about that. But I think what subconsciously I read by talking to Al is that they're just hoping that he's ready for postseason. They're hoping that the young guys can get him there. You know, the magic number might be 13 more wins. Nobody knows that for sure.
Bounced right to the first baseman, Cabrera. 2 gone, and let's go right back to Trev.
And Jack, you make a good point. Brad was asked about running out of time as far as Nick Castellanos is concerned and his return with that pain in his broken hand that's healing right now. Nick said he'll see how that feels tomorrow, and if it feels good, he'll get back on the field and take some BP, and hopefully he'll have another simulated game in Cleveland. But he also said that if he was given a 6-week time frame, and that would be on Saturday, would be the 6-week time frame. He would then go out to rehab, but because there's no place to rehab right now, he has to do everything in-house. So the process may take a little bit longer with Nick Castellanos, guys.
All right, Trev, and certainly he is a big part of the offense, which has been somewhat inconsistent as Buxton looks at a strike. Now the question with Castellanos is, again, you know, what kind of Nick will you get back if he comes back for the final week?
Well, you got to have a healthy Nick. That's the main thing. Only he knows how much pain tolerance he can handle, and that's why it's such an individual thing. You know, it was clear to all of us who watched it today. He had a setback. His hand was hurting. He could not continue swinging and if it's hurting him off of a tee, certainly live pitching is going to hurt more.
Got him, strike 3. Sanchez is cruising tonight.
9 up, 9 down for Anibal.
Gotta love that. 5 of those strikeouts. Sanchez strutting off the mound in command early in this one. A fog rolling into the ballpark right now. The Twins offense has been in a bit of a fog, courtesy of Sanchez. 9 up, 9 down for Anibal with 5 strikeouts. Here is Miguel Cabrera going to work here in the Tigers' third. Miggy, then Martinez, and Martinez facing Tyler Duffy. 1 in the first, 1 in the second for the Tigers. They lead 2-0. Cabrera shoots it back out of play. 1-1.
Let's take a look at our Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Windows back in August at Target Field. Miguel Cabrera off Tyler Duffy. That's a moonshot straightaway center field against the backdrop. And Tiger fans love to see that happen again here tonight.
That drives in for a strike. 1-2. If Miggy played in your day, how would you pitch to Cabrera?
Well, depends on the guy on deck. He would probably plug up the bases a lot. I wouldn't pitch to him if I could, if I didn't have to. Why?
There's the line drive to right, and Kepler runs it down.
Took me half my career to figure that out about George Brett. I did really well against Kansas City after I figured that out.
A lot of folks had trouble with George Brett. Here's Victor Martinez.
Thing about a guy like Miguel Cabrera, there's not a lot of holes and you can't repeat things. He will make adjustments. If you think you're going to pitch him one certain way every time and have success, you're wrong, because he will adjust. All great hitters adjust.
Well, Victor stands in now. A strikeout victim his first time. They played a pull on him and a strike on the outer edge. I like that word, adjustment. That's the name of the game at this level, isn't it? Whether it's hitting or pitching.
It's a cat and mouse game between a pitcher and a seasoned hitter, and it's hard to face a guy 4 or 5 times in a game and continually trick him. You don't really ever trick him. You just hope that they just miss a little bit. They don't barrel it up completely.
So it's 0-2 now on Victor.
Here's another guy that, in my opinion, I'd have a tough time pitching against. He covers the whole plate. He rarely strikes out. We talked about Iglesias, but Victor is a guy that over his career, and certainly he's different today than he was 5 years ago, but he's still a professional in every aspect.
And a guy that works extremely hard. His work ethic has become commonplace and known by everybody in this game. He's a guy that's in the cage constantly. And again, the 0-2 outside. Well, we looked up George Brett's numbers against Jack Morris in his career.
Oh, we don't want to know that.
You admitted you had difficulties with
Yeah,
it.
but I don't need a nightmare tonight. I was going to sleep well. We have a day game tomorrow.
All right, I won't bring him up. We have a day game tomorrow. Just the 1-2. Ooh, swing and a miss. Down he goes.
Duffy gets Victor for the second time, both on breaking balls.
We've got a day game tomorrow. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. What do you got, Jack?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell them what it
You want
was.
the numbers first?
Sure.
All right. 330 with 5 home runs.
Ooh. And that was all in the first half of my career against him, because he walked every other time from then on.
Look at it this way. You got him out 6.5 times out of 10. There's a bouncing ball to the left side of the infield, gobbled up there by Polanco, who throws him out, and a 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Duffy. Nothing. Kinsler and McCann have come around to score runs early in this game. The Tigers bring that lead into the top of the 4th inning here in the ballpark. Game 3 in this series. We check in now with Craig Monroe, field side. And Simo, good to see the Tigers get a couple of early runs. This has been an offense that has been somewhat inconsistent.
Well, it has been a little bit inconsistent, up and down, so to speak, but that's what happens when you play a 162-game season. Offenses tend to go through their ups and their downs. Right now, they've been a little down.
Well, Brian Dozier just knocked one up and over the fence into the seats. That's going to be home run number 41 for Brian Dozier.
I am just amazed at this pace. I've been watching Brian here for the last month, and I cannot get over. I remember playing with one of my favorite teammates who actually hit 50 and 51 for me in New York, and Cecil Fielder. But Brian Dozier is on one kind of torrid pace right now. He just doesn't miss those pitches that he can drive. And that one right there, clearly a home run from the crack of the bat.
This is unbelievable. That is the first hit of the game for the Twins to make it a 2-1 ball game.
Jack, you make a great point about Dozier there, but for me, it's about the pitch. He continues to hit balls on the middle and half of the plate. If you're a pitcher and you're continue to seeing him drive that ball, you have to throw the baseball away and make him beat you the opposite way.
No question about it, and that might indicate where Major League pitching is right now. I just cannot get over how many balls are hittable pitchers. We, in our generation, I think you'd get fined if you threw the ball in the middle half in on a guy that's so hot.
Meanwhile, Polanco slams a single to right field. So back-to-back hits after Sanchez had retired 9 straight to start the game.
Well, I also believe if you're going to go in there, Jack, you have to come in there on me, make me uncomfortable. Because if you don't move my feet, you don't make me get out of the way, I'm very comfortable in the batter's box. I can look for a pitch out over the plate and kind of dive a little bit. And I just feel like Dozier's so locked in right now to where he's looking for anything middle in, and he's not missing it. The ball looks extremely big to Dozier at this particular moment.
Kepler looks at a ball outside.
Well, we were just talking about George Brett, Miguel Cabrera. I could name off probably a dozen guys in my career that, you know, most of them are in the Hall of Fame right now, but they didn't miss pitches. You made a mistake, they made you pay. And Simo, you've talked about that many times. You know what that's all about. You can't miss the pitch you get. When they throw you a cookie, you got to jump on it.
Well, because it might be the only one you get, and that's what's hard about being in that batter's box, especially when a pitcher has all of his pitches working, when he's got good location with the fastball. He has that breaking ball changeup working, and he can throw them in any count. It puts the hitter at a disadvantage, but when they do make that mistake, if you're ready and you're prepared for the pitch that you actually like to attack, and it's in your zone, Jack, you're absolutely right. You can't miss it because you may not get another pitch to hit in that particular at bat.
Here's the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kepler.
You know, what's puzzling, and this is, you know, Mario, you're a guy that's probably called more games than Craig and I both, but
right.
Anibal's cruising. He's got 9 up, 9 down, 5 strikeouts. He makes a mistake pitch, or at least challenges him, you know, feeling pretty confident, and makes a mistake out over the plate. Now he's got to run at first base, nobody out. He's got to pitch out of the stretch. Pace of game has slowed way down, and things are changing. And he shouldn't change. I mean, still be aggressive. Go after him. Make your pitches away. Kepler's a guy, you know where to pitch him. You got to pitch him away. And, you know, go right after him. You still got a lead.
Well, he's gone to 2-2 on Kepler now.
And as a hitter, those are the things that I'm looking for, Jack. Everything that you just explained there, that's as a hitter, I'm looking for those signs that's going to allow me to feel like I have the edge. And when you look out at the mound and the pitcher all of a sudden doesn't seem to look sure of himself, as a hitter, I feel like I've got the advantage, and I can't wait for him to make a mistake.
So, Craig, you can sense that as a hitter.
Yes, you can sense it, especially when guys start to nibble. They're scared to throw pitches over the heart of the plate.
There's ball 4 with the runner on the move, and now there are 2 men on here with nobody out. By the way, the first 200 fans to call and donate $60 or more will receive a limited edition Detroit Tigers bow tie. Proceeds benefit youth baseball and pediatric brain tumor research. To donate, please call 313-471-2100. That's 313-471-2100. And it's the bow tie that Simo is wearing. It's the bow tie that I've got on and Jack's got on as well. Look at Simo, man. That looks sharp, buddy.
The smile doesn't come with it, but
It's just, you know, guys, we always have to make sure we're at our best. You know, we're representing Fox Sports Detroit and the Tigers, and so we have to make sure that we are appropriately dressed.
Vargas sends a ground ball into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Polanco coming around third. He's going to score, and the Twins have tied it up. 4 straight base runners reach here in the 4th.
damage control. Man, how many times do we talk about it? Whether it's a young pitcher, a veteran pitcher like Anibal Sanchez, it's all about damage control and not extending innings and having multi-run innings. And here he is, 4 guys on base here to start the top half of the 4th inning.
Simo, we've seen Anibal pitch enough to know that he can get on those stretches like he was on in the first 3 innings where they can't touch him. And then all of a sudden things may go south, but usually that's typically in the 5th or 6th inning if it happens. What have you seen tonight that has accelerated that process?
Well, I think the fact that he made the mistake to Dozier on a breaking ball that was the middle half of the plate that Dozier hit his 41st home run on. I felt like Sanchez all of a sudden maybe started to try to nibble a little bit too much and not necessarily trusting his stuff. Again, these pitchers, they want to get the results, so they want to pound the strike zone, and if they're pounding the strike zone and getting those outs, the confidence continues to rise. But the minute they make a mistake, you'll watch their confidence start to waver, and that could be the case with Anibal Sanchez at the moment.
Well, another hard hit ball, but just foul down the third base line.
Simo, what about the second time around? Here it is. The Twins are started this half inning, all having the second look at Annie Ball tonight.
I always felt better the second time I got to face a pitcher. The reason being is I know how much depth he's going to have on his breaking ball. I've picked up the speed on his fastball. If it's got some life on it, my timing is so much better that second time around. So that's one of the things where if you're the pitcher, Jack, and you know this well as anybody, you have to mix it up. You have to change speeds.
Drilled deep to left field. That ball is way back, and it's going to go. It's a home run for Kurt Suzuki. A 3-run shot. And all of a sudden, this has turned into a nightmarish 4th inning for Sanchez.
Well, again, when you try not to make mistakes, Jack, and you know this. If you try not to make mistakes, that's when you make mistakes. It basically comes down to trust, man, and attack the strike zone.
That's the old washing machine hanging slider right there, and I've given up a lot of those in my life. I know what that feels like. But you're absolutely right. When you think you're trying to pitch defensively, you get bad results.
And
he was locating so well in the first 3 innings. Everything was down and away to both sides of the plate. He had a good, crisp breaking ball, but that was his first really lousy breaking ball, and one just spun, stayed right up in the zone.
Escobar, the batter. He'll drive this one in the air to center. Maben started back. Now he's coming in, sliding to make the catch. That is the first out of the inning.
He's got that makeup speed, Mario, because he went back on this ball right away off the bat. But you got to like the fact that he's galloping like the horse I said yesterday, those long strides, and comes in and make a nice sliding catch right there by Cameron Maben.
Well, the Tigers desperately needed that out. One gone now for Grossman. Here's how much of a change this 4th inning has been. Sanchez threw 32 pitches to get through 3 innings and was 8 of 9 in first pitch strikes. And as you guys were saying, attacking. And 1 home run seemingly has changed the outcome of his start here. It's now 5-2.
It just happens so fast sometimes. I think that's another thing that you don't realize, how it speeds up when things are going bad, and you need to find a way to slow it down. And I'm not talking literally slow it down, like take more time between pitches, but mentally understand that you still have to command the pitch. That you know, I heard something the other day that made total sense to me about a hitter, and just because he goes 0 for 4 in one game doesn't mean he has to change all his mechanics about hitting. This guy could be hitting 350 and you go 0 for 4. That's human. We all make mistakes. We have bad days. You don't change everything. And I think maybe Annabelle was trying to be too fine. He started what we call nibbling, and he was missing.
He got him, strike 3. Grossman is caught looking 2 gone. Well, manager Brett Ausmus's auction lot. Here's what's in his basket: autographed jersey, 10 fitness classes, wireless headphones. And again, for more information, tigers.com/wives, 313-471-2100. There's the skipper's auction lot. You can check out his basket online, and you can put in your bid. There's a ball inside to Logan Schaefer.
Jack, I got a question for you. When a pitcher is trying to go down and away or down and in, especially down and away, if you're going to miss, don't you want to miss off the plate away?
Absolutely you do. But I think sometimes when you get behind a lot, you've got to miss, but you know, be down in the zone. You don't want to miss up over the plate. In other words, if you're missing on both sides of the plate, off the plate, sometimes you got to come in the zone, but you still want to stay down. And when you elevate those pitches, we look back at all the pitches that were hit in this half inning. I promise you, most of them were up in the zone.
Well, those are pitches that I want to see coming out of the pitcher's hand as a hitter.
1-2 on Logan Schaefer. And he got him, strike 3. So Sanchez able to rebound after the Suzuki home run. But a pair of long balls in the 4th, highlighting a 5-run inning. In the fourth inning, 5-2 now. The Twins have the lead. Menards brings you the big money encounter. And we want to look at the highest ERAs for starters this year. And, well, this guy is right at the top of the list.
It's been a rough go, and that should give Tiger fans some optimism here as there's still a lot of ball game left. Tigers trail by 3 here as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Justin Upton, James McCann, Andrew Romine. 5 runs, 4 hits for Minnesota. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Tigers. Infield shifting on Upton. And he'll spin in a ball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Simo, we were talking about the Tigers' inconsistencies on offense. Last night, they had a pretty good matchup on paper against Duffy, but just couldn't get it going against him.
Well, I think it was in large part because Matt Boyd was not able to keep them in the game early. They got down early 7-1. And for whatever reason, when the team gets down, the fellas want to come back. They know they're playing for something. So I felt like he took advantage of a very aggressive Tiger team.
Talking about Kyle Gibson, and yeah, the scenario was the Tigers had an opportunity to maybe break the game open and really get back into it in the fourth inning. They had bases loaded. Finally, Gibson retired a guy, and then 3 of the next 4 innings, he had 1, 2, 3 innings. And I think sometimes over-aggressive hitters, Gibson did a good job of having him swing out of the zone, keeping the ball down. This is what they have to do right here. Lead-off walk after Minnesota scores 5 runs to take the lead. You got a lead-off walk. Be patient up there. Make that guy come to you, right?
Well, you're absolutely right, Jack. And I actually got a chance to talk to Wally Joyner today around the batting cage, and that's exactly what he told me. He said today they want to be patient. They want to make Duffy work because they believe if the game is close, he'll make mistakes. His ERA proves that he hasn't been great this year, but they can't help him out. And he said last night against Kyle Gibson, they felt like they helped him out. They were too aggressive, chasing pitches out of the strike zone. And tonight, so far, I've seen a different Tigers lineup. They've been patient. They've gotten themselves some good pitches to hit, and let's just hope that that continues, and that'll allow them to come back. A lot of game left.
Now, on the flip side of that, if you're Neil Allen, it's got to drive you batty. Your teammates get you 5 runs, and you walk the leadoff hitter. And that one missed outside, 1-1.
I can promise you there's nobody more frustrated than the guy throwing the ball. Tyler Duffy is wound up pretty tight. He's wired that way, and sometimes his emotions can get the best of him. He knows what a struggle it's been this year, and now he's got a lead to work with. He needs a couple more innings to maybe have a chance to win this game. He's not going to complete it, obviously, with 69 pitches here as we start the fourth inning.
McCann singled and scored in the second. Tigers got 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Leadoff walk to Upton here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Look at the pitches in this at bat. Not a one of them was a strike. He's got 2 swings and misses, and that's what we're talking about. Bring it up, make him hit, make the pitcher throw the ball in the zone. Now, if I was Duffy, I wouldn't throw a strike here.
Little chopper slowly toward third base. Barehanded play and out at first base is McCann. That will advance the runner. 1 gone.
Pretty nice play here by Eduardo Escobar, barehanding it on the run and making a strong, accurate throw across the diamond to Kenny Vargas to get James McCann. Upton will advance to second base.
That'll bring up Romine, who is playing third tonight. And Simo, I know you had a chance to see Castellanos take his 1 at bat in the sim game today, and actually had a chance to talk to him today, didn't you?
I did, and he told me that when he's taking soft toss in the batting cage, he feels 100% because he barrels up every ball because it's coming in so slow. But he said once he went to go to the field to take batting practice, he said he had to alter that swing a little bit, especially on the ball on the inner part of the plate, where when he had to pull his hands inside, he said that's when he felt it a little bit. And he said against Jordan Zimmerman today, he hit one off the end of the bat, and that he had a sharp pain go right to the spot to where he was hit, and it was throbbing all day long.
Well, and unfortunately, that's what he's dealing with right now. There was hope that Nick would be able to come back, and I know he was targeting Sunday, this coming Sunday, but we'll have to see how that shakes out. Meanwhile, 2-0 on Romine. Chopper back up the middle into center field. Base hit. Here comes Upton rounding third. They'll send him home, and he is saved at home plate. RBI single for Andrew Romine.
That was an excellent at-bat for Romine. He did not try to do too much. They talk about hitting the ball right back up the middle, being still and quiet. He just does that. Watch this swing right here. Doesn't try to pull the ball. It just basically hits the ball where it was pitched, shoots it right by Duffy, right up the middle. And then it was all about Upton just getting on his horse and scoring.
Well, you have to love the fact that the role players are coming up big and making an impact. And Romine has done exactly that. Yesterday, the other day, it was about walking and getting on base, scoring from first on an outstanding slide at home plate. Tonight, it's getting a big base hit up the middle to get them one run closer to the Minnesota Twins.
So Duffy now will face Iglesias. 14th RBI of the year for Romine.
I feel like this is a time of the year where the bottom feeders, I call them the bottom feeders, my catfish is down at the bottom of the batting order. These are the guys that I believe that can impact the game, especially with Romine and Iggy being down there. You know, you can put on a hit and run. Iggy can handle the bat extremely well, laying down a bunt, using his legs, getting the infield hit. We saw that in his last at bat. So I like the bottom of this Tigers lineup, and I think they're going to come up huge moving forward.
Bunted foul, 0-2. I think most teams that are good and most teams that get to postseason and eventually the World Series seem like the 06 team did. You got to go 1 through 25 on your roster and have everybody contribute.
Well, that was one of the things about me and Brandon and Marcus. We took it personal. We knew that everybody was going to worry about Maglio and Pudge because they were the superstars, and we were kind of the young guys coming up trying to make our way. So we had a chip on our shoulder every time we went to the batter's box to try to make those guys pay.
Pretty good play there by Polanco. Had to get rid of it quickly for the out. 2 gone. They'll advance the runner to second base, and a 2-out chance now for Ian Kinsler. By the way, Simo, your boy Shagwa is warming up.
That's Shagwa, baby. I'm ready.
You would love it.
I love it. I do. That's a great name.
That might be the best name in baseball.
It might be, Mario.
Cajun from Louisiana.
Here is Kinsler. He is the tying run at the plate right now, 5-3. We're in the 4th inning. Ian strokes one in the air to shallow right center field. Buxton can't get it. It's going to roll the wall. A run scores. Kinsler coming to third base. The throw not in time. A triple for Ian. And it's 5-4.
A double, a single, and now a triple. Just a home run away from the cycle in 3 at-bats for Ian Kinsler. I think we picked the right guy to talk about on the pregame. And this time, though, he hits a double to the left center field. This time he shoots one right center. You see Byron Buxton. You'll see him try to dive for the ball. No real chance. Kepler just has to chase it from that point on. There's the dive from Buxton, but he's 4 feet away from that ball.
I'm sorry, Kinsler known for being a pull hitter, but look at the head and the bounce there, how the backside knocks that front side loose. That's a breaking ball. He stays through that baseball and gets himself a triple. That's an outstanding piece of hitting right there by my Tiger in Kinsler.
He's everybody's Tiger, Simo.
Well, because you love the way he plays.
Line.
You know, you just love the way he's gritty, dirty, gets nasty out there, brings his A game every single night.
Checked it and did not go. 1-1. Well, you got to love the way the Tigers, who were gut punched with a 5-run 4th, have come right back with a couple of runs and now a chance for Maben to tie it up. Well, there's Kinsler all dirtied up, as Simo said. He represents the tying run at third. Outside, 2-1.
This is where Maben's got to be patient. Let's look at the route Byron Buxton takes here. He just didn't get a great jump, but he made up ground. One of the fastest guys in the game. That ball just was in the right spot. Nobody was going to get it. And Kinsler legs out a triple.
Fouled off, 2-2.
A lot different Tiger lineup tonight after being down 5-2. I thought the guys were being a little bit more patient than they were last night. Last night they were overly aggressive. Tonight they're making Duffy work, getting good pitches to hit. And again, that's why they continue to come back. This is a very potent lineup, guys.
Well, it was a leadoff walk that got him rolling here in the fourth. Meanwhile, Duffy now has gone to 3-2, and he doesn't want to face that guy.
I don't think he will face that guy. If he doesn't get out Maven right here, there's a good chance that Paul Molitor will come out and get Mr. Chagua.
Here's the 3-2. Line to left center field. It's going to get down. It's extra bases. It goes to the wall. Kinsler scores. Maven is on his way to third. Here comes the throw. Back-to-back triples.
And I absolutely love that. Maven says, we're eating, baby. We're eating.
It's a 5-5 ball game.
And that'll be it for Tyler Duffy. Damage control, just couldn't get it done. He gets spotted a nice 3-run lead, and the Tigers come back right in the bottom half of the inning and score 4 themselves. 3, excuse me.
Another gap shot, this one to left center field, scoring Kinsler with ease. And the Tigers get the offense cranked up here in the fourth inning. They've knocked Duffy out of the ball game. Wallside Windows pitching change here in the fourth inning. We're tied at 5. There's a couple of triples. They had none in the last 34 games. That's how the game goes sometimes. The Tigers have tied this one up. JT Chagua coming in now.
Maybe harder to hit triples in the game today than home runs. You got so many outfields with great speed out there, and you got to hit the ball in the gap.
And Cabrera takes ball 1.
You think Miggy's the kind of guy you want up in this situation to get that go-ahead run? Pretty much knows how to handle this situation. You got a young pitcher, primarily a fastball guy. Very seldom can he command his secondary pitches.
Popped up foul, back out of play. 1-1 on Cabrera.
Jack, and in these situations, the reason Mickey drives in 100 every single year is he hits to the situation. He is simply going to take what Shagwa gives him, and you can watch him. He's not going to try to pull the outside pitch. He's going to take it the opposite way. And if he hangs a breaking ball, guys, it's going to be a 2-spot on the board.
That'd be nice. 1 ball, 1 strike. Half swing fouled off, 1-2. Well, not to be lost in this half inning was the at bat by Andrew Romine at the bottom of the lineup, as Simo says, one of the bottom feeders. That's a big at bat. RBI single. Kept the line moving, made it 5-3, and then the top of the order did its job. Here's the 1-2. Line drive, base hit right field. Tigers have the lead. Miguel Cabrera gets it done. 90th RBI of the year.
I just really believe this guy's got a whole different approach when he has a chance to do damage. He does not ever try to pull a ball when he's got a chance to drive in a run. Everything is about going the other way. And with that in mind, when you throw a breaking ball or anything out or a half, you're just feeding him exactly what he's trying to do.
Well, he fouled off a 94, 95-mile-per-hour fastball to the back towards you guys. Then he check swings, and he knows with 2 strikes you have to protect away, and that's where his bread is butter. He continues to drive balls the opposite way, gets a slider down. I mean, that's a quality pitch for a pitcher, down and away. But Miggy's such a good hitter that he stays on that baseball and stays through it, and again drives in another big run.
3 straight RBI hits for the Tigers. They answer the 5-run fourth with 4 of their own. And Shagwan missing outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Victor. Martinez struck out twice against Duffy.
Another thing going unnoticed right now, because we're talking about Tigers offense, but Anibal Sanchez sitting there, and the Tigers just gave him the lead again. He's just got to have a mindset of that first guy. Got to go get him.
That ball hit pretty good to left field. Going to be playable though. Schaefer gets there to end the inning, but a big inning for the Tigers. They scored 4 times, send 8 men to the plate. The key hits. Kinsler going shopping to right center field gap, and then Cameron Maben left center field gap. Let's eat. Once again, 6-5 is our score. As we go to the 5th inning now here at Comerica Park, Byron Buxton will lead things off, and he'll look at a strike. 0-1. Tigers were 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position in that inning, and now 6 of 10 in the game. Getting it done tonight offensively.
Well, I say it a lot because it happens a lot, more than once during the game, but this is the most important out of the game right here. That first guy, after your team scores and puts you back ahead, you need an out.
2-1 on Buxton.
This game's so much about momentum, and if you can keep that other team down while your team feels like they got it, that's what you need to do. A good off-speed pitch right there. That's one thing we didn't see much of Duffy at all tonight. Pretty much fastball, breaking ball, no change-ups per se. And Annabelle might want to start putting that in part of his arsenal.
Buxton takes high, 3-2. If you joined us late tonight, Sanchez retired the first 9 in a row and needed just 32 pitches to get through 3 innings, but then gave up a 5 spot in the 4th, including a couple of home runs, Dozier and Suzuki. The Tigers offense came roaring back. Again, if you want to bid on our items tonight, 313-471-2100. The favorite things auction, tigers.com/wives. Another foul back out of play. Buxton struck out his only at bat. That was to end the 3rd. Ball high, he did not go, and that's going to be a leadoff walk.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch for Anibal Sanchez. We talked about first 3 innings perfect, 5 strikeouts, and we're going to look at some of the command early in the game. Every one of these pitches are on the borderline of the strike zone, pitchers type pitches. Gets a bunch of strikeouts. Then he hangs a breaking ball to Brian Dozier, and things start going south for him. Look at all these pitches that are hit that are over the heart of the plate. Just missing. It's all about location. And now he walks the leadoff man here in the top of the 5th inning. Rich Doobie's out to maybe talk a little bit about this. This is an important part of the ball game.
Well, the Tigers needed some length tonight out of Sanchez. They've got Pelfrey going tomorrow, and he's coming off the disabled list. Has not pitched really since coming off the DL. So they can't expect a lot of length tomorrow from Pelfrey.
I don't think you really, you know, and I know this for a fact. Brad's not worrying about tomorrow. He's got to manage this game right now, and that bullpen's certainly going to get active. They can't let this get too far out of hand. You got one of the league's hottest hitters at the plate. He probably got the league's fastest runner at first base right now, at least from first to home. Nobody can run with him. You got to execute some pitches.
Dozier hammers one down the line and left. It's going to go to the corner, and Buxton is off to the races. He's coming to third base. They're going to send him home, and he's going to score. He'll score from first base on a double by Dozier. There's that speed you talked about.
Yeah, unbelievable
that
speed
you were talking about.
Brian Buxton right there. I mean, Iglesias never even got the ball from the cutoff man in Upton. And that's it.
Jack, again, though, look at this thing. He's trying to go down and away, but look where that ball comes back to the middle end part of the plate. And that is where Dozier continues to make not only Sanchez pay, but every pitcher.
Everybody
this year.
That's going to be it for Anibal Sanchez. He will leave. Twins have tied it up 6-6. Wall-side windows pitching change. We'll be back. Tied this game up again. 6-6 is our score. Here's the Chevy Silverado most dependable player, and now Dozier joining some company. Look at these second basemen, Jack, and home runs in a single season.
Unbelievable right now. Brian Dozier, hottest hitter in the game, and Tiger fans getting a real treat here tonight. We talked about it in the pregame. These second basemen that are playing in this game, what a night they're having. 3 hits for Kinsler, a single, double, and triple. Now a double and a home run, 2 RBI for Dozier. Maybe the pitchers ought to think about not pitching to him.
Well, here's Alex Wilson. He'll come out of the bullpen for the Tigers. Polanco, the first man to face him, a single and a strikeout. Showing bunt. He'll push it foul, third base side. It's funny when you mention pitchers ought to think about not pitching to them. Usually you're talking about sluggers, first baseman, third baseman, not second baseman.
Hey, they're sluggers right now.
They are, aren't they?
I mean, Dozier, second in the league in home runs. You've got to respect it. You don't look at his physical size. You look at what he's done. And we've been talking about all night how hot he is. He's in a zone.
Fouled away. 0-2 on Jorge Polanco. 9 hits for the Tigers and 5 for Minnesota. The Twins have a pair of home runs, Dozier and Suzuki. Wilson's job now is to try and strand that runner at second with nobody out. Missed it inside.
That's a good pitch right there. That's a real good pitch. If you're going to miss off the plate. A little bit of a slider cutter right there for Alex Wilson. We talked about it already in this series. This young shortstop for the Twins, Polanco, is just not intimidated by anybody. He's got a very compact swing. Got a good idea of the strike zone.
Look out, moved him out of there. 2-2.
That's even better pitch because he moved his feet. Now he's a little uncomfortable. Now the opportunity to go away is a lot better than it was prior to these last 2 pitches.
Now as a hitter, Jack, that's what I was talking about earlier. Moving the feet, making guys uncomfortable. You're absolutely right. Now as a hitter, I am a little uncomfortable right now.
See McCann shift outside.
It's going full 3-2.
Alex a little upset that he wasn't able to locate that ball. They wanted to go away and the ball ran back over. It was down, but it was too much of the plate.
Sanchez knocked out of this game, was staked to a 2-0 lead. Teammates came back after falling behind, gave him a 6-5 lead. Here's the 3-2. Drilled to center field. That'll back Maben up. Still going back. Runner will tag. And he'll get to third easily. Fly ball moves him up. Time now for T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball. Want to talk about some of the other games of interest to the Tigers concerning the pennant race. And how about Tampa? They beat up on Toronto today.
Well, Tampa helped out Detroit. So did the Dodgers. They helped out Detroit by beating the Yankees.
Baltimore playing in Boston tonight, leading 1-0. The Orioles hold the first wild card spot in the standings. Tigers have a chance to get to within 1 game of Toronto. By the way, Josh Donaldson having an MRI in his sore hip. Yeah. Infield in now, ball 1 high to Kepler. Time of the year where just about every team has to deal with some kind of injury. Tigers certainly have had theirs.
I remember Sparky Anderson having a team meeting about this time of year, telling everybody, hey, everybody's tired. Everybody in baseball's sore right now. Says, how strong are you mentally? That's what this game's all about right now. There's not a guy that's played all year long that isn't tired and sore. Go out there and play the game because you're stronger than them mentally. And you know, he had a tremendous, I mean, that was a motivational speech, and I don't know what it would go over, how it would go over today, but there's a lot of truth in it.
2-0 on Kepler. In a lot of ways, that's what September is all about, isn't it? I mean, you've been together since what, early February, middle of February?
Mind over matter in this game. You know, it's such a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And, you know, this is the time of year where you really should be invigorated, get excited about the opportunity to continue on and watch the week fall.
Right to the second baseman with the drawn in infield. That'll save the run.
Big out right there.
Well, Kepler did exactly what Alex Wilson wanted him to do, and that was chase a pitch down and get the ground ball to Kinsler to keep the run from scoring. But if you're a hitter there, Jack, I have to get the baseball up. It's situational hitting with the guy at third base, less than 2 outs. I have, with the infield drawn in, I have to hit a fly ball to the outfield, which would allow Dozier to score. So that's an outstanding piece of pitching by Alex Wilson, keeping that ball down.
No doubt about it. Hitter's looking to drive a ball in the air right there and try to get it far enough to the outfielder that the runner at third can score.
Kenny Vargas a single to drive in a run in the fourth. Don't forget the My Favorite Things auction happening tonight. Tigers Wives standing by to take your bid. Tigers.com/wives if you want to see what is up for bid tonight, or 313-471-2100. Supporting the Detroit Tigers Foundation. All of the proceeds help support that foundation, and they're the Tigers Wives ready to take your call. Here's a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vargas now 5 hits in the series.
Yeah, he had a good night last night.
That'll sail outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tied up at 6 as we play in the 5th. Suzuki on deck.
With 2 outs, the pitcher has a lot easier decision to make with the hitter at the plate. Do you want to let this guy have a good swing, or would you rather, with 2 outs, have 2 guys on and pitch to the guy on deck?
Flared toward left field. Here comes Upton moving over. That'll end the inning. Nice job by Alex Wilson. Strands the runner at second. You're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. One of the best auction baskets tonight is the Paws auction lot, a Miggy autographed bat. Tickets to the 2017 Tigers Kids opening day, Greenfield Village tickets, Sesame Street Live. Man, that thing is loaded. You got to go online to bid on this one. Tigers.com/wives if you want to bid on the Paws basket tonight. Absolutely loaded with good stuff. A Miggy autographed bat. Well, it's JD Martinez here in the bottom of the 5th. 6-6 is our score. We've gone back and forth tonight. Both of the starting pitchers have departed.
Yeah, this one's a slugfest. Who will be standing at the end?
2-0 meanwhile on JD Martinez.
See the shift again on JD on the left side.
Two and one. Steady diet of that pitch in this series for JD. Breaking ball spinning away.
It just puzzles me. You got to shift on, you pitch him down and away.
And I've always wondered that.
JD will go to right field. I mean, where are the reports?
3-1.
Jack, I got another question. Are you a big fan of the shift?
It's still debatable for me. I think there's value in it.
He says no. That
No.
means no.
No, I think there is value in it, but I don't believe in it all the time. And my point is, Simo, you have to pitch to the shift.
Right.
If you got guys pulling you over, wouldn't you want to jam a guy right here? I mean, that's what you're trying to do, is make him pull the ball. Now Dozier is going to go back on the second base side with a couple strikes.
Well, I've asked myself that if I was in the batter's box and they had the shift on, would I take that, would I take a bunt base hit to the third base side if they were shifting either way?
There is one out as Martinez flies to center field. Let's check in now with Trevor Thompson. He's standing by with Ashley Boyd. Trev?
Yeah, down here on the auction floor, Mario, and the Boyds and the McCanns have teamed up for their basket. Ashley, tell me what's inside your combined basket this year.
Yeah, so we partnered with the McCanns, and they did a family fun day, and Matt and I did a kind of a date night. It's revolving around cooking. We donated a cooking class. We're total foodies, so that's what we went with, yeah.
How's the bidding going so far?
Yeah, it's going really well. Lots of people are calling in. It's kind of getting a little competitive. A lot of people are calling back in and asking where they're at, so it's exciting.
So whose basket is ahead right now in the bidding?
It's mine in the McCanns.
Oh, this wasn't a setup either, was it?
No.
Somebody wants date night out there, Mario. That's what I'm sensing right now.
That or food. Thanks,
I want both. How about both?
Oh man, that's wonderful. And I know the Tigers' wives are doing a terrific job down there answering the phones. There's Matt Boyd, wife Ashley, chipping in tonight.
What did you guys put in our basket, the Fox Sports Detroit basket? What did you guys put in there?
Oh, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, none of it's good for you though. Got gummy bears in there. Gummy bears.
Well, I put a guitar strap in there because you guys know. Well, I'm trying to learn how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And so I thought that would be a great.
There's the Boyd McCann basket, autographed jersey and bat. The cooking classes that Ashley talked about, so you can still bid on that. 2-1 on Upton. Outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Got more with Trev.
Hello.
Go ahead, Trev.
Well, guys, Simo was asking what was in the Fox Sports Detroit basket. I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit of Canada is in there.
Really?
A Sherwood hockey stick and a dozen Pro V1 golf balls because we do golf in Canada as well.
Nice.
Little known fact, we do golf in Canada.
For that 1 week of the year when the weather's nice, right?
Well, Trevor golfs every single day.
All right, Trev, thanks. Yeah, you can vote. You can bid on that Fox Sports Detroit basket as well. Here's McCann waiting on deck.
Does Trev swing a hockey stick to hit the golf ball?
He could. He just
I can attest that he hits it very far off the driver. He's got a nice little hockey swing, so to speak.
3-2. Swing and a miss, and Upton is out. Hey, Simo, any similarities between a golf swing and a baseball swing? I know Inge used to talk about that a little bit.
I think so. I felt like, well, when I go play golf, when I'm hitting off the tee or hitting any ball, I think of a pitch being down and in, and I have to keep it fair, and it keeps my golf swing really short and compact to where, Mario, I'm not going to brag or nothing, but I hit it good off the tee, about 290, 300.
Really?
Nah, not too bad. The
What
short
he's
game
really,
is
what he's
but you
really
gotta
trying to
putt
say is
the
his
dough.
chipping and putting is really bad.
Chipping not bad. Putting is where I have the issues. He's supposed to putt for the dough, and it's just not working out for me.
Putt for the dough.
That's it.
That's like baseball. You hit for show and pitch for dough.
That's it.
Well, you guys are full of them tonight.
Am I wrong?
0-1 to McCann. No, actually, you're right. Absolutely right. McCann is single and a ground out. 6-6 ties. We play here in the 5th inning. Loop foul back out of play. Chagua came on in the 4th inning, gave up an RBI single to Cabrera. That briefly gave the Tigers the lead, but since then, he is not allowed with anything. Swing and a miss, and McCann is out of there. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. A couple of strikeouts for Chagua, and we go to the 6th. Here's what the situation is right now in the wild card, with Baltimore leading that wild card over Toronto, who lost today. The Blue Jays were pelted at home by the Tampa Bay Rays. Tigers right in the thick of it. They're a game and a half back, but I will tell you this. They've got to beat this Minnesota team. They've got them tonight and tomorrow before they head to Cleveland. Here come the Twins now as we go to the 6th inning. It'll be Kurt Suzuki to lead things off. 1 ball and no strikes on Suzuki. Big 3-run homer back in the 4th.
He's homered in 2 of the 3 games here against Detroit in this series.
Swing and a miss. It seems like Suzuki, every time he plays against the Tigers, has decent numbers. And Kurt was hitting .324 versus the Tigers this year. That's his 3rd home run versus Tigers pitching. Here's the 1-1, bouncing ball to 3rd. Tough hop there, Romine. 1 gone.
He hit it sharp, and I'm not sure Romine really was confident the way he fielded it, but it ended up in his glove, and once it did, he kind of just relaxed and made a perfect throw across the diamond.
Here's Eduardo Escobar. He'll bat now with 1 out. Wilson came on in the 5th inning, a 1-2-3 fifth after the double by Dozier tied it up. Showing bunt, he'll look at his strike. It seems a lot of times I think teams like this Minnesota ball club can be a little bit of a pain because they are creators. I know they've hit a couple of home runs tonight, but they have the ability to run, they have the ability to bunt and create some runs.
And it just puts pressure on the pitcher. It puts pressure on the defense because this team, too, when they get on the bases, they're known for going first to third. They can, like you said, they can lay down bunts. They hit and run. And especially right now, too, where they're playing for pride and they're also playing for jobs next year.
1-1 the count on Escobar. Yeah, 2 things that can make you an awfully dangerous team down the stretch: pride and a job next year.
Yes.
Just to put it quite simply.
Well, they don't know what the pressure of postseason is. They're eliminated. No chance of going into postseason, where the Cubs are what I just saw. They won today, and they're a game away from that magic number. So they have one more win. They're in. Be the first team in baseball to be in.
Little pop up back at third. It's going to be caught by Romine. What a play by Andrew. Simo, you got a bird's eye view of that jump.
I really did, and that was an outstanding play, guys, there by Romine. Take a look at this play here. I mean, it was tremendous. He got a good idea right away. He knew that's that overhead pass, football pass. Like he acted as if he was a receiver there, catching that ball over his head. He got a great jump on it, too. That was an outstanding play by Andrew Romine. Do it, Romine.
He's telling Iggy, look, I know you make that play every time. I can do it, too. 2 outs for Grossman.
Good things can happen when you pitch and throw the ball across the plate. Look at that play. Leadoff walks, not such a good result.
Strikeout, fly out for Grossman in the game. In there, a strike.
Let's look at how far Andrew Romine ran for that ball. He starts way back from there. Whoops, that's not even a show.
He got on his horse, though, guys. He got on his horse. He started to pick him up, pick him down, put him down as he felt like he was getting close to that ball.
He just had a good route to it too, straight back to it.
Yep.
I've maintained, and I'll continue to say it, it's one thing to be able to play 5, 6, 7 different positions, but to be able to play them well makes you a special utility player.
Right-hander Pat Light now warming in the Twins bullpen. No question, that's got to be the hardest thing in baseball.
Down goes Grossman via the strikeout.
Another good inning for Alex Wilson.
Little help from his buddy Romine.
At Big Boy's big play of the game, bottom of the 4th inning, Andrew Romine at the plate. Just a nice, easy swing, scores Justin Upton. Then everything starts falling the Tigers' way. Kinsler with a triple to right center, Maven a triple to left center, and Miguel Cabrera, after Shagwell comes in, gets the go-ahead run with Maven scoring a base hit to right.
Battle of the bullpens now in a 6-6 game as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Romine will be leading things on. And the Twins have a new pitcher. It's right-hander Pat Light.
Pat Light, another guy that was supposedly going to touch the triple digits. He hasn't shown that yet for the Twins, but what he has shown is he's got an excellent forkball. Split finger fastball over the top. Really, the bottom drops out.
Swing and a miss. Made his Twins debut with a scoreless 2/3 of an inning back on August 23rd against the Tigers. They got him from the Boston Red Sox for Fernando Abad. Bouncing ball to short, and it'll be routine there for Polanco. One gone. So you're wondering where we are right now in the auction. I know you are. We've got the tote board to show to you. And here are some of the auction items and where they stand. You can see $2,500 right now, the highest current bid for the Boyd McCann basket. Now look at us, Jack. We're only at $400. We got to do better than this.
Well, I could throw in some things, and maybe I'll wait till the very end and toss in a little Jack Morris guided fishing trip or something like that.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm on board.
See?
I'm all in.
Guitar lessons with Simo.
Well,
Guitarzan.
I need my own. I need some guitar lessons.
I know.
Well,
you can learn together.
You could go. Yeah, there you go. You bring Simo with you.
That's right. Bring Simo to your next guitar lesson. 313-471-2100 to bid is the phone number. Meanwhile, 3-0 on Iglesias.
Mario, I'll tell you this, though. I got G, C, and D down.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
It's all gibberish to me, Simo. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Those are chords, baby.
Okay.
Those are chords.
Gotcha.
I thought that was a vitamin shop.
I'm going to head to the G, C, and D. 3-1 on Iglesias, who thought he had himself a walk there.
All knotted up here.
Showing bunt and a strike called. 3-2.
It's amazing. Both bullpens have come in and really done a nice job. Alex Wilson for Detroit. JT Chegua for the Twins.
Slicing to the corner. It is a foul ball. Three and two. The count remains on Jose Iglesias. Infield single and a ground out in this game.
Iggy's putting together a solid at bat right here. I love this at bat here because it's a team at bat. He knows he just wants to get on base to allow the guys behind him, the top of that batting order, to do what they've been doing all season long, and that's put in work.
To right field, straight at Kepler for the second out.
And that's going to bring up Ian Kinsler, and what a day he's had. In the first inning, he leads off the bottom of the first with a double to the left center wall, and he scores on Maven's double. Then in the second at bat, he gets a base hit RBI up the middle, and then the triple to right center field picks up another RBI. So single, double, triple already, just the home run away from the cycle.
And a strike called on Ian. Carlos Guillen, the last Tiger to hit for the cycle. That was in August of '06. A very good year. Ground ball to third. Stumbling there as Escobar stays with it, though. And the Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. Let's go to the 7th. Thanks, Simo. We'll see you, man.
All right, thank you guys. Enjoyed it.
Bank game summary tonight. Ian Kinsler, 3 out of 4, double, triple, 2 RBIs in this game. Brian Dozier is homered yet again, his 41st of the year. And the 4th inning offense combined 9 runs on 8 hits between the two teams. It has been a back and forth affair. Tigers back to the bullpen now. It's Shane Green coming on.
Well, he's going to be the next Tiger bullpen pitcher to try to hold this Twins offense from scoring. Bullpens have done a great job so far since both starters have been relieved.
Alex Wilson facing 6 batters. He retired all 6. Logan Schaefer leads it off. 6 runs, 5 hits for Minnesota. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Tigers. Schaefer rips one foul to right field.
Tigers playing Schaefer straight away, infield and outfield.
Right-hander Presley warming up for Minnesota. Schaefer ground out strikeout in this game. Little looper, left side of the infield. Iggy runs it down. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet, more than you expect for less than you imagine. Fog still rolling in. Somewhat eerie look into the light standard. Here's Byron Buxton. 0-1 on Buxton. You saw part of his skill set his last at bat, didn't you?
Certainly did. He walked a leadoff walk and then comes around on a double, easily scoring from first base. You might want to keep this guy off the base path. That'd be a pretty good plan.
What areas does Buxton need to improve to
Just
stay at this level?
plate discipline. He's a guy that I think is starting to show signs of improvement, to getting an idea. He's got a great work ethic, and he truly is one of the best athletes in the game. But he's got to understand the strike zone and what his ability is. You know, he's swung like a lot of young hitters. He's swung a lot out of the zone once he's behind, and it seems like he, especially prior to his September call-up, he was behind in counts immediately.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
Very good location of that little slider.
First strikeout for Green. Yeah, the first 200 fans to call and donate $60 or more receive a limited edition Detroit Tigers bow tie. Proceeds benefit youth baseball and pediatric brain tumor research. To donate, please call 313-471-2100. 313-471-2100. Here's Brian Dozier. Double and a homer tonight. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Dozier, for a brief time, tied up Mark Trumbo in home runs with 41. But Trumbo is homered tonight.
That last pitch just shows in the swing. If we could just see that all over again. Perfect location. Dozier could not drive that ball. It was a perfect spot, down and away. And what's amazing is early in the year, everybody was pitching Brian Dozier away. And then he just sort of moved up on the plate and started shooting a few balls. Just not that many, but a few balls to right field. And pitchers started trying to get back in on him. A big mistake, because he loves the ball in. You just got to stay out there.
Remember when the Tigers played in Minnesota early in the year, we'd talked to you and a few other folks that covered the Twins, and it's exactly what you would tell us. He wanted to pull every single pitch and would not go the other way. And until he started doing that, apparently he wasn't going to take off.
Well, and I don't think he's made a drastic change. It's just that he's able to cover the whole plate now, and he's hit enough balls straightaway center, a couple home runs to right center, that you know, the American League trying to pitch him back inside. You don't want to pitch this guy inside. Good
shallow
pitch right
center
there.
field, and Maven runs it down. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Green. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch. Taking phone calls and taking bids in the Tigers Wives auction tonight. Keep in mind they will take bids until after the first pitch of the 8th inning tonight, so time is running short. If you want to bid on some of those auction lots, here's the Zimmerman Alex Wilson basket. Autographed jersey and cleats, fishing accessories, a Michigan beer cap map. And if you'd like more information, tigers.com/wives or 313-471-2100. Time running short. They will take those bids until after the first pitch of the 8th. Meanwhile, Ryan Presley comes on now for Minnesota.
Presley was warmed up in last night's game on the pen, but did not come in the game. He's been used very extensively for Paul Molitor this year, his 69th game.
Cameron Maben leads it off. Boy, Maben had a big at bat in his last turn. He tripled with 2 outs. That tied the ball game up. Tigers had back-to-back triples in the fourth. Maben and Kinsler. Bouncing ball to the shortstop, running scoop Polanco. And scooped it first there by Vargas. Nice play, one gone. Well, the most popular way to follow the Detroit Tigers postseason push is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. MLB.com at bat for your favorite devices now. You see Cabrera deposits one of the seats here.
Well, he was able to drive in the go-ahead run his last at-bat. Needs to do it again. Nobody on base, so I guess the only option would be to hit one in the seats.
Yes, it is. Cabrera has 32 home runs and even 90 RBIs now for Miguel. One ball, one strike. Big swing there. 1-2 on Miggy.
Well, you'd love to have that one back. That was a hanging breaking ball right there. Miguel doesn't always open up, but watch him open up on this one. He was thinking left center there. Just swung through it.
Tigers have 9 hits tonight, 5 for the Twins. We've been tied since the 5th inning, and there is action in the Tigers bullpen. Rondon. Driven toward left center field. Ball is hit well and off the top of the wall and gone. Miguel Cabrera has untied the game. 7-6 Tigers.
Amazing. We weren't really serious, but guess what? He was. He did exactly what we asked him to do.
Number 33 for Miguel.
Well, he missed that one hanging breaking ball, and here's another one that stayed right over the middle of the plate, and this time he did not miss. And then we talked about it. Talked about it in his last at bat. You cannot have the same pattern to guys. They may look bad on one pitch. You try to get them again. Look at that ball right off the top of the yellow and into the bullpen.
Such an effortless swing for Cabrera. And the Tigers have the lead now, 7-6. They might be able to get away with the hanger once, but Cabrera hammered the next one. V-Mart is 0 for 3. Bouncer foul down the first base line. 1-1.
This ball hit right on top of the yellow part of the fence and then bounced over.
Tenth hit of the night for the Tigers. And Cabrera now has 2 RBIs this evening. Bouncing in way in front of the plate, and Suzuki just kind of shifted over to try and block it. 2-1. That's going to bring the catcher out to the mound. Presley leads the Twins and is 3rd in the American League in innings pitched in relief. Tigers have just gotten to him for a home run. The 2-1. Drill to right field out of line. Kepler going back over his head off the top of the wall. That thing nearly went out. It's going to be a long single for Martinez. A rocket to right field.
Maybe 3 feet away from being a line drive home run into the right field bleachers. A fastball, middle in. Great swing right in his wheelhouse right there. You can see Victor had Kepler turned around throwing it first. He might have had a shot at him. Man, 2 feet away from being a home run. Can't hit him much harder than that one.
Almost went through the wall. Well, let's bring him in. Here is JD Martinez. 1 on, 1 out, 1 run in. Fouled off.
JD is hitless in this series against the Twins, other than his last at bat. Or no, this whole series.
Yeah, 0 for 3, now 0 for 11 in the series. And for as hot as he was coming in, the Twins have done a good job of slowing him down. Ooh, that one was over the heart of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. They, for the most part, have stayed away from JD.
One away again.
Ooh, that time he missed, though, up and in.
That's just overthrowing a baseball right there. Ryan Presley's been around long enough, thrown enough innings. And when you see him misfire like that, that's just max effort, not really focusing on keeping the ball down. Michael Tonkin getting up now and throwing in the Twins' pen.
Hammered back out of play.
JD's has had a couple pitches in this at bat that he should be able to handle.
Seven to 6, Tigers have the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Thanks to that man right there, Mr. Cabrera. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase, and JD is out on strikes. 2 gone. Here's the upcoming matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet. Tomorrow, Jack, it'll be Hector Santiago, and Mike Pelfrey gets the start for the Tigers.
Santiago winless in his first 5 starts for the Twins. They tried to tweak his delivery a little bit. It wasn't working. He told the pitching coach, Neil Allen, hey, I want to go back to where I was. And has had a couple pretty good outings back to back for the Twins. Pelfrey coming off the DL. And he just needs to have a good outing himself, get deep into a game for a change.
0-1 on Upton. J.L. Block scored a run in the 4th. The 2 teams combined for 9 runs in that 4th inning. Martinez holding at first base, being held there by Vargas. One ball, 1 strike. Well, we've mentioned that this Twins bullpen has been taxed this year. They've thrown more innings than any other bullpen in the American League, and more times than not, that will catch up with you at some point. High fly ball to right field. Kepler coming over, appears to have room, and he does. So the inning is over. The Tigers grab the lead. Cabrera, solo home run to give it a 7-6 lead for the Tigers. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Belt Tire. To make a call, the Tigers wives standing by to take your bids. After the first pitch of this 8th inning, they will no longer take your bids. 313-471-2100. So if you're waiting to the last moment to make that bid on any of the packages and baskets you've seen tonight, do it now, pronto. Meanwhile, the Tigers go back to the bullpen here as we go to the 8th. Up by a run, it'll be Bruce Rondon.
Yeah, you look at his numbers since August 27th, and he's been very, very good. Has not allowed an earned run. And exactly what the Tigers are hoping for from this guy, kind of turning into a setup man. Especially good breaking ball. I think that's the thing that has really changed him. He's always had that live fastball, but the location and sharpness of his breaking ball has really fooled a lot of the American League hitters.
Well, some work to be done here. The Tigers have the lead, though, as we go to the 8th, and Rondon delivers a ball outside at 96 to Jorge Polanco. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for Minnesota. Polanco a single and a run scored tonight. Got to tip your cap to Alex Wilson. 2 scoreless innings. Shane Green a scoreless 7. The guys that Brad Ausmus has counted on all season long coming through tonight. Now it's Rondon here in the 8th. He'll spin one in there for a strike, 1-2.
And that's another pitch that you hadn't seen a lot early in his career, but now just an off-speed kind of get me over breaking ball, and that could be a very effective pitch for Big Bruce.
In the air toward left field. Upton says, "I'll take it." Well, after both starters were ejected from this game early, midway through, actually, the bullpens will decide it. Right now, the Tigers bullpen has been a little bit better than the Twins pen. Here is Kepler. Be careful to him. 15, make it 16 homers this year. Ball 1.
He's got the kind of numbers that maybe would put him in the Rookie of the Year argument. He, unlike Naquin for Cleveland, he's played against both righties and lefties.
There's a solid single to center, so the tying run is on. Nice piece of hitting there for Kepler.
See all the home runs by the rookies. He's second on that list with 16. Tyler Naquin with 14. Naquin has just basically turned into a guy that only plays against right-handed pitchers. And I think the edge goes to Kepler because he plays almost all the time, whether you're right-handed or left-handed.
Kenny Vargas, the batter. Gary Sanchez on that list with 14 home runs, but he hasn't played nearly the amount of games that the other guys. Big swing.
It's quite an amazing story, though. You have to just say, wow, how's that happening?
Not too many guys step to the big leagues and just have that kind of start to their major league career.
Just think of the expectations. He's supposed to hit 75 next year.
That's oh, the expectations
in New York. Come on.
Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Rondon has to try to keep Max Kepler right there at first base. He's got 1 out. He's here to pitch the 8th inning and turn it over to K-Rod. And he's got to attack here right now to Kenny Vargas. Make good pitches. Got a chance to roll over double play ball. Vargas does not run well.
One and 2. Rondon, Jack, shows you that raw ability, the ability to throw upper 90s, that slider that's developed. And you know, you look at this kid and you say, yeah, he really could be a future closer, but there are other parts of the game, though, that are very meaningful when you pitch late in games. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
Well, speaking of velocity, here's a look at our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. Bruce Rondon, 97 he's touched on his fastball, 83 that get me over curveball. But this last one, a fastball that he painted away and just blew it by Kenny Vargas. So everything you just talked about, Mario, this guy has the chance, and I don't think he should ever even worry about closer stuff. Just take it every opportunity he has and be better. You know, I look at what is happening over in Cleveland with Andrew Miller, and it's a case where they are using him in not only the closer role, which, you know, has really been defined by the guy who's been their closer all year, but they've used him in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning, back and forth. And I think that could be a hint of what's going to happen in the future with guys that have multiple type closers. They could switch them around.
Well, and you could make the case that on any given night, the most important 3 outs might come in the 6th, or they might come in the 7th.
And Terry Francona, the manager of Cleveland Indians, kind of has acknowledged that. He says, right now, these are the most important outs. I need a guy, and that's when he brings in Andrew Miller, who has been absolutely lights out for Cleveland. And then, you know, still has the closer, his go-to guys late in the game. Brian Shaw pitches every night.
The pop-up foul back out of play. 1-1 on Kurt Suzuki. Rondon has that ability to get you that strikeout. The Tigers using him in the 8th inning here tonight to try and get to Francisco Rodriguez. And it looks like Bruce also takes part in the cupping, which aids in recovery. A lot more baseball players are doing it now, and I guess have been. Of course, it has come to light with the Olympics recently this summer. 1-1. High pop up.
That'll work.
Shallow left. Iglesias Upton. Upton makes the catch. Nice job, Bruce. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Here comes Tonkin. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory.
New pitcher for the Twins will be right-hander Michael Tonkin. He's another one of the tall right-handers. He's got a very live arm, throws a lot of fastballs. His 59th game. Command can be an issue. Secondary command is especially what he needs to work on. But he has a good live arm.
And he will face the bottom three here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be McCann, Romine, Iglesias. 7-6. Tigers had the edge. They've out-hit him 11-6 tonight. Tonkin fires high and away, 1-0. Tonkin, a big fellow, 6'7", 220 pounds, Glendale, California. Swing and a miss, 1-1. To no one's surprise, one Francisco Rodriguez is warming up in the Detroit bullpen. In there, a strike called, 1-2. McCann tonight, a single, a run scored. He's 1 for 3. Wouldn't hurt to get an insurance run or two. Swing and a miss. That ball's going to get away and go all the way into the camera well, and to first base goes McCann. Thank you very much.
Well, here's our 1-800 call Sam call of the game. Look at what Andrew Romine has done here in the 4th inning when the Tigers scored 4 of their runs. Andrew Romine just quietly shot a ball back up the middle, got an RBI. In the 6th inning, his defense, the glove shows up, an outstanding catch over his shoulder that helped save pitches and possible future runs for Alex Wilson at the time.
Here's a bunt. Right back to the mound, Tonkin. Romine will advance the runner.
The little things, that's what we talk about. He's asked to get the guy over after a gift. McCann struck out, and Romine bunts, perfect bunt. Just lays it down, ball's out of the zone, but he's still able to barrel it up and softly lay it out in front of the mound. And Tonkin has no other play than to go to first base with runner advances.
Lots of high fives on the bench after that bunt. By the way, in that strikeout, they ruled a pass ball, not a wild pitch. Strikeout pass ball allowed him to reach. Here's Iglesias. If you're scoring at home with us.
And if you're scoring, that's a sacrifice bunt for Andrew Romine.
Iggy 1 for 3. Oh, 2. The game in Boston has gone final. How about this?
What a pitching matchup that was.
It was Gausman and Porcello, and Gausman with a 1-0 victory. Rick Porcello pitching like a Cy Young candidate should late in the season. How do you stand on relievers winning that Cy Young? Zach Britton, we saw him against the Orioles. He's awfully good.
Well, I used to be a little more upset because I knew Cy Young was probably eaten away in his grave.
It's going to drop in a base hit, but they're going to hold him at third. That'll put runners at the corners.
Good piece of hitting right there. Dave Clark has to hold McCann there. The crowd kind of not real happy with his decision, but you've got to get a good jump, and I think there was a chance McCann could have scored. They might have conceded that run.
McCann read that ball nicely. I think he's saying, come on, man, it was an RBI. But the Tigers have him at first and third. Kinsler would get the job done. Ian, by the way, still has a chance here at a cycle.
Yes, he does.
Wouldn't that put a capper on his night? Single, double, triple.
Well, there's a gift out at third base. A strikeout and a pass ball is what allowed James McCann to reach first base, and then a sacrifice bunt by Andrew Romine got him to second. Look at this.
He'll get it done. He'll bloop a single into center field. Iglesias going to third is in there standing up. RBI single for Kinsler, his 4th hit tonight.
He jammed him. The bat died a hero. But Ian Kinsler picked up another RBI. There's the insurance run, Mario, you're talking about. Good base running by Jose Iglesias. He read this right off the crack of the bat, knew that he could get to third base. Tigers put another run on the board. Let's watch Iglesias round second. He sees that Buxton's not there yet, and he just takes off to third. Buxton doesn't even make an attempt to throw it.
Tigers have been running on Buxton in this series. Now Maben with runners at first and third. That'll slide low, 1-0. First 4-hit game of the season for Kinsler.
That'll be an unearned run. Passed balls are considered an error, where wild pitches aren't. So the ruling that as a pass ball, allowing McCann to get to first, comes around, it's going to be a unearned run.
Maben's had a good night too, double, triple, couple of RBIs. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Maben may have felt it in that thumb on that last swing, shaking it a little bit. Kinsler back in, standing up. Tonkin gets the strikeout of McCann, but a pass ball allowed him to reach, and he has come around to score. Chopped to third, foul.
There's K-Rod. Looks like he's ready. $27,953 in attendance tonight. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Maben is out of there. 2 gone. Just like we promised you early in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And we're going to take a look at Miguel Cabrera's last at bat. That home run off of Ryan Presley put the Tigers up by a run. They've added one here in the 9th, but Miggy comes through again. That was the 8th inning when he. Oh, it's the 8th inning. Sorry. There's a swing and a foul. So Miggy 2 RBIs tonight, and that one bit Suzuki. Kurt has had a couple times this year foul tips that literally have cut his chin, and it hits him so hard in the mask, and his mask has had some extra padding, that moleskin that he's put on there to try to protect his chin. He's had stitches, I think, twice from foul tips. So many. It's amazing how many he's had this year. Well, he's gone back to the bench. Might have opened it up again. He's taking his gear off.
Suzuki apparently is going to leave this game.
See a little cut on his chin again.
Well, he immediately got up and just, for lack of a better way to explain it, just walked off the field. So we'll get a new catcher for Minnesota.
Well, it'll either be Juan Centeno or John Ryan Murphy. It's Murphy. Took it square in the chin.
There's that little cut right on his chin, and he's coming out of the game. So Murphy will take over behind the plate. 0-1 is the count on Miguel Cabrera. Well, you can never look at the standings too much. The Orioles have won tonight, and Baltimore with a 1-game lead in the first wild card position over Toronto. Tigers could be a game back. Tigers, of course, still have their eyes on Cleveland. It is not out of the realm of possibility with 7 left against the Tribe. Now the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Miggy's home run in the 7th. His RBI single was in the 4th. That'll bounce in and away, and it will score a run. Iglesias comes in. Kinsler taking a wide turn as if he wanted to go to third. That's a big run for the Tigers. Now a 3-run game.
Take a look at it. Just overthrew a breaking ball, and that short hops him. John Ryan Murphy does not block that very well. It will be ruled a wild pitch, but not a very good effort from Murphy. And Iglesias scores because of it.
Wild pitch indeed, makes it a 3-run game. 2-2 on Cabrera. Tonkin taking over for Light, who came on in relief also with Chagua in this game. Their starter Duffy was knocked out in the 4th. Inside, 3-2 on Miguel. Chin laceration, the reason that Suzuki left, as we kind of figured.
Yep.
Justin Wilson now has joined K-Rod. Tigers take this out of save territory. You probably see Wilson.
Yep.
Got him, strike 3, and Miguel is caught looking. However, the Tigers pad the lead. They scored 2 here in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th, 9-6. Right now the Tigers trying to finish off a victory of their own here. They have a 3-run lead as we go to the top of the 9th inning. 9-6 in favor of the Tigers. And they'll claw on their closer. It'll be K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, checking in.
Looking for his 42nd save. He's been very, very good. The Tiger fans finally have a closer that they have been able to depend on. He's looking forward to being out there. 3-run cushion, still a save opportunity.
It'll be Escobar, Grossman, Schaefer due up here in the 9th. Frankie ready with the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Escobar. So the Tigers bullpen tonight has been a big part of the story. Wilson, Alex that is, retired all 6 that he faced. That's in there. Shane Green a 1-2-3 7th. Rondon a scoreless 8th, and now Francisco Rodriguez in the 9th.
Bullpen's been great for Detroit. Started in the 5th inning with Alex Wilson getting 3 outs.
Fly ball center field. Maybin is on the move. Still going, still going. 1 gone. Here's game summary tonight with the Tigers up by 3. Kinsler's first 4-hit game of the season. Brian Dozier hit his 41st home run of the year. And the Tigers bullpen, well, that has been a huge story tonight. Only 1 hit.
Amazing job. Very good.
Now Grossman. He has fanned twice in this game. He's 0 for 3. Tigers trying to get their 78th win of the year. In there, a strike called.
Francisco Rodriguez pitched in the first game of this series. Came into the game and allowed a couple walks. Made everybody nervous, but ended up recording the save. Did not allow a run.
Popped him up. Shallow center field. Here comes Maybin. And Cameron handles that one as well. 2 gone. 1 more out to get. Tigers have 17 games remaining after this one here tonight. And this would be their 78th win.
Yep.
Time of the year where you can start to crunch some numbers. Schaefer is standing in with 2 outs. Strike 1. 27,953 in attendance tonight.
And those that are remaining are on their feet, anticipating a Tigers win.
One ball, 1 strike. Ball low, 2-1 the count. Tigers put up 13 hits in this ball game tonight. They lead by 3 in the 9th. Here's the 2-1. Little chopper to the right side. Here comes Kinsler. That is a Tigers win. 1, 2, 3, 9. Final score 9-6 Tigers. Now we send you to the Call Sam Studios and Mickey York.
Okay.